Okay, so we had a recent change, and you're probably wondering, where's the ASUS TUF RTX 3080 that was in here? It's my lucky day. We got the MSI Gaming X Trio. Man, I know you're probably trying to figure out, like, what happened? What happened to the ASUS TUF? Well, so I was going to go pick up this case and these fans for a build that I got coming up, because we're going to be swapping out everything and putting it in here for the O11 Dynamic. And I end up scoring this from Micro Center. So I'll tell you a little bit about it later on in the video. What up, good people? This is your boy C Will, back to you with another video. Man, I'm super excited. Look, I gotta be probably one of the most luckiest people in the world. Why? Because as you can see here, you see the title of the video, I picked up another one. So this is my second 3080 in the past 2 weeks. You saw my ASUS TUF video. If you hadn't seen that review already, definitely hit one of the links up above. I don't know, it'll be somewhere above or in the description below. You can check that out. But we got the MSI RTX 3080 Gaming X Trio. So if you've been following me on the channel, you know I'm a fan of MSI. Definitely make sure that you hit like, hit subscribe, and definitely hit the bell so you can receive all of my notifications. Let's get going. So let's get this bad boy open. All right, we got a knife on deck. I'm gonna try to do this with one hand. Try to do it safe. So you're probably wondering, how do I even score another 380? So let me tell you what happened. I went to Micro Center and I was just going to go pick up a case. But I said, you know what? I was going to go pick up the PCIE 11 Dynamic because we're going to switch into that, and I was going to get some case fans. And I was like, you know what? Let me just take the card just in case if I see a Strix model of the 3080, which is what I really wanted. I want to get a Strix, but it's like the unicorn out of this group. But really, all these cars are like a unicorn. But I got to Micro Center super late. It was around about 9:30 a.m. Manager just came outside, handed out 7 vouchers. And I was probably like number 11 in line. And which I wasn't mad because I already had a 3080. But I was like, well, I got to talking with a couple of guys, and there was this one guy that walked up to me and was like, hey, did you get a voucher? I was like, no. He was like, well, do you want one? I said, yeah, because he didn't want the MSI version. Now, this is a good card. It's a great card, actually. But he said that he didn't want it. My luck. So I swapped out my ASUS 3080 and got this one. And yeah, so just taking a look at the box. Whew, look at the RGB, look at the fans. Man, oh man. And so we got the Trifrozer 2 fans cooler system. These are 95mm fans that's on here, which is crazy. The cooling on MSI cards has always been good, at least with the Gaming X Trio models. I had if you've been following this channel, you know I've had the 2080 version of this card. I had a 2080 Super Gaming X Trio, which I sold in my last deal. And so the fact that I was able to score another one of these is absolutely insane during this time where people are trying to get one and can't. So there was a guy that actually followed me to the register because I told him I was returning my ASUS, and he bought it. So he scored, he lucked up too. So the fact that I was returning it, he was able to get his hands on one, and I'm trying to do this with one hand. We're gonna make it happen. So he was able to score, and I was able to get what I wanted. Even though you would think that, oh, I would be so satisfied with just having the TUF, So of course, in this card, and we're gonna talk about it. This is some of the ASUS stuff. It's like got the manuals and everything that's in here. And yeah, we don't really care about that. All right, so of course, with all the with all the Gaming X Trios, they come with the GPU bracket. I'm just gonna be honest with you. The previous one that I had really didn't work all that well. So I don't know how much better this is going to work, but we'll definitely see. Because this is a heavy GPU. I forget. I think the card itself is like 315 millimeters. So we got this going into the H510 Elite for today. But in a couple of days, I'll be going into the Lee and Lee. Even though the ASUS Tough 3080 is absolutely amazing, when they have better cards, you just want better. So look at this here. This is the back plate. I am going to turn this around. Whew. So look at this. I think they said that this back plate is made out of graphite. It's definitely hard. They say it's a real strong material. This is the LED light with the stuff that they were talking about. And as you can see the side of the card here, they got the MSI GeForce RTX, and on this behemoth, it requires 3 8-pin connectors for the power. So as you can see on the Seasonic, I already have these pretty much lined up right here. And if we flip this card over, ooh, look at those fans. Something that they've done differently on these fans, they actually connected the actual ends that you can see here. So they have multiple blades, but 2 of the blades on each part are connected. And so you have, I believe this one and this one, they spin in one direction, and this one spins in the other direction. So to take away from the actual turbulence on the card. And as we can see on the end here, so the difference between this and the ASUS is that this one comes with 1 HDMI port and 3 display ports. So 1 HDMI 2.1, the ASUS had 2 HDMI 2.1s, and then they had 3 display ports. So I just got 2 monitors, and I use display ports, cables only. So we're good on that. But if I ever did run across, one of the new LG TVs that comes with the 2.1, then, I can definitely hook that up later if I wanted to, but no need for this brother here. So this particular card boost clock gets up to 1,815 megahertz, which is amazing. The ASUS Tough OC got up to 1785. So with the power, they said that this card could do 520 watts, possibly, that could be delivered. But the TDP on the card is 340 watts. So we definitely have more power, more room for overclocking, and these fans are going to keep the card cool. So let's go ahead and get this bad boy into the system. Okay, so if you wonder whether or not the Gaming X Trio 3080 fits into the H510 Elite, we're about to find out. I know when I did one of my videos, I said it was going to fit, and would you look at that, it fits. So we're just gonna get this popped in to the connector, and let's see if we can be able to do this with one hand. I don't know. Got it. Y'all heard that snap in? Bam. Now look at that. Barely. So with the 280 millimeter on the front, and the intake fans are pulling air through the radiator into the case, and it's gonna go out the back and out the top. So that's how that's set up if you got questions on that. But man, look at that. So let's go ahead and get the screwed in. All right, so boom, we got the card in, and it's actually doing the one thing I love about this motherboard, the Gigabyte Aorus X570, is that the PCIe slots are reinforced. So that definitely helps. Don't see any GPU sag. But as you can see, like I put a link down in the description below of all the parts and everything, but I have a Seasonic GX850, 850 watt power supply. And it comes with the individual cables. So I use all 3 of the PCIe cables, like individual connectors going directly into the power supply. And so we're gonna supply the power that's needed to be able to run this card. And bam, there we go. So we got the power, and now I'm going to put the side panel on, And of course, you know, I do all my tests and everything with the side panel on. So when I know we had a lot of questions about that. So just so you will see, just hit the power. Ooh, look at that. Yes, sir. Look at that RGB. Now I'm gonna take the panel back off just so I could get a better picture of it. Ooh. All right, so I took the side panel off. Man, oh man. Look at that RGB bar going across here. The MSI and logo actually lights up RGB as well. And if you look up under the bottom, you can see it also has RGB. That's dope. Super dope. So man, we're gonna have some fun with this. So let's take a look at some of the numbers and everything. But so far, so good. All right, so here we go with the benchmark numbers. So I just want to go over a couple of things real quick. As you can see here, we got the RTX, the MSI RTX Gaming Edge Trio 3080 installed. Boost clock 1815 megahertz. I talked about that a little bit earlier. 8,704 CUDA cores, 320 bit on the memory interface, and then bandwidth 760 gigabytes per second. 10 gigs of GDDR6, same as all of the other 3080 cards, so nothing has changed there. One thing I want to show you here, and if I could get this to go away. So one thing I want to show you here, I have vertical sync off. So that's important for NZXT. So as you can see here, you know, using the H510 Elite. A lot of people have been asking me about this case. So I have my cooling solution set up on silent because I just want to hear just the GPU fans. Right now, I have fan 2, fan 3, which is these two right here. Both of these are the exhaust fans. I have those on performance only. And then my the fans on the front of the H510 Elite, which is feeding into the radiator, they're on silent. And so, yeah, and I got my pump on performance. Everything on the graphics card is on stock. I didn't do this with the ASUS TUF. The only thing I changed on the TUF was actually pushing the power limit up and having a custom fan curve. But what I've done now, everything is just out of the box. I did not change anything here. Matter of fact, if I go to settings here and I click on fan, as you can see, no fan curve is being used. I actually wish I would have done this on the TUF the first time. But what I'm testing here is just to see how the actual BIOS on the card, you know, how it cools itself off. So right now I am running the stress test on TimeSpy. This has been running for a minute because I want to saturate the GPU. And as you can see up here at the top left-hand corner, it shows it's at 77 degrees. I have my air on right now at 70 degrees for my air in the room. So 77 degrees, this has been running for maybe about, I guess maybe about 10 minutes, I would say. But as you can see, 77 degrees, the fan speed is at 1564 RPM. So I am right here by the case and you can't hear the fans. So it's super silent. So this is out of the box performance. I definitely just want to make sure I showed you this. This card gets cooler than the 77 degrees. This is what I've been, you know, 77, 78 is what I've been maxing out at. And so, yeah, so if you did not change anything, now normally when I run my tests and I look at these, I will set up a custom fan curve because that's how I play my games. So the RPM on the graphics card does go up. You can hear the fans just a little bit. But like if I change, so if I go here now, so now that we've done that, I showed you that, you see what the card would get up to inside of the NZXT H510 Elite. Now, if you have a case that has more airflow, then obviously that will make a change in your GPU. My CPU is at 49 degrees. That's the 3900X. So this is at running at 4K on a TimeSpy Extreme test, stress test. So this is my 4K monitor, the LG 27UF500-W. But so the only thing that I'm going to change here is the fan curve. So if I go to settings, and this is MSI Afterburner, click on fan. I'm going to enable this. I'm not going to change anything else. It's just the default custom fan curve. So if I click on apply and I hit OK, one thing that you're going to see here is that the fan speed has now gotten up to 88%. And that's because on the fan curve, it's all based off of the temperature of the GPU. And so now, what you're going to start to see is the temperature go down on the card. And it actually goes down very dramatically. So as you can see, we're already down to 70 degrees. So we were at 77, 78. As you can see here at Tech Power GPU Z, it shows the GPU temp 67, fan speed, it's at 80% at 2,500 RPM. So that's what you're looking at. And if I go back over here to the card, you may be able to hear that just a little bit, but barely. So when it's inside the case, even at 2,500 RPMs, the fans is actually pretty solid. Most people play with their speakers turned up or headphones in. You definitely won't have to worry about the card being loud. It does not get loud. I'm right here by the computer, and you can barely hear the fans on the card. The lower the temperature, the boost clock stays up, and then you're good to go. So I know people had concerns about the NZXT H510 Elite. No concerns. We're good to go. So I took the side panel off real quick. One thing I wanted to show you is just the clearance. You may have saw this earlier when I installed it. This does fit in the H510 Elite. So you're not gonna have any issues. That's a 280 millimeter cooler. I am using the front, the fans on the front, to the intake fans on the front to actually cool off the radiator. So it's pulling air in through the radiator into the case, and then the exhaust out the back and also out the top. But the temps actually stay pretty good. As long as you set the fan curve up, you don't have to worry about your GPU, overheating or anything like that. You definitely won't run into that issue. My CPU has been fine. My CPU is at 51 degrees. So, yeah. All right, so let's take a look at a couple of benchmarks, some games, and see what we get. I will tell you that the numbers are pretty much the same across most of the 3080s. They may be off maybe by 1 or 2 FPS. My ASUS Tough boost clock was at 1785 megahertz. And then, this one, the Gaming X Trio is at 1815. But when I ran the benchmarks, the numbers were pretty much the same. So we're going to kind of zoom through those, and then I give you my final results. All right, so the first one up is Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So this is a game I just recently downloaded, got it for a really, really good deal just recently, but it has a great benchmark. So if we go to options, display and graphics. So one of the things I realized after watching a lot of videos that a lot of people do not show their settings when they're running these benchmarks. So we are at 4K DLSS. We are going to turn this on. We're going to say full screen exclusive, RTX 3080, monitor refresh rate 60 hertz. Yes, all of that. We're going to hit apply. Now, up on graphics, right now, I actually had this on highest. I changed one thing on here, and that's to turn on ray tracing shadow quality. So I'm going to put that at ultra. Everything else is on. And yeah, let's run the benchmark. This is how I would normally play the game as well with the settings that I just showed you. Okay, so we're at the end of the benchmark, and lo and behold, average 69 FPS at the settings that we looked at. And so yeah, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, definitely hard game, to run with the settings that I just chose. But I got the same thing with the ASUS Tough. So like I said, the performance when it comes to these cards is not going to change. But I believe the biggest thing is definitely just the way that the card looks, you know, how quiet that they may be and stuff like that, but you're not going to see a big performance difference. All right, so I got another 4K benchmark that I want to show you with this card. We have Gears 5. Definitely another great game. If you haven't checked it out, then definitely make sure that you do that at some point in time. But if we go here to video, as you can see, it's on recommended, but we're going to change this to Ultra. Everything is on 4K, vertical sync. We're going to turn that off. Minimum frame rate, we're going to go to none. Maximum frame rate is unlimited. Cinematic, we're going to change that to unlimited. And then everything else is on Ultra. All right, so one thing that we're going to do here, we're going to go ahead and click on benchmark. And this is also another game that has a great benchmarking tool just to kind of get just the gist of what you would be seeing. Again, if you want to see more benchmarks, you could definitely check out my ASUS Tough video. It's pretty much the same, you know, performance that you'll see out of both cards. I would definitely do a dedicated benchmark video showing multiple games. But I definitely just wanted to do just a quick review of the MSI card, so you could be able to see, you know, just what's going on, what you could get your hands on, and what it's going to be like. And then we'll talk a little bit more about the actual card itself after this benchmark is completed. And as you can see, the benchmark has been completed and we got 76 frames per second. So that's actually amazing. Actually on the tough card, I got 72. So we did pretty good on that. All right, so I just want to talk a little bit more about the card so you can see the actual light bar that you can have here. You can actually make changes to the RGB in the MSI Dragon Control Center. That's a software that you can be able to download. Not going to go into that, maybe at a different time. This card does use, you see the black caps or the SP caps, and then it's 5 of those, and then in the middle it shows the MLCC caps when it comes to the power delivery and everything. That has been proven to be not the only factor when it comes to the actual Nvidia cards and whether or not it was causing the issues. But I've had no issues with this card at all. And also for most people, the driver fix that Nvidia put in play, you know, to kind of regulate how much power is being delivered to the cards, you know, when it comes to the boost frequency and stuff like that, pretty much fixed everything. But I have no issues with this card. And as you can see up under the bottom, you can see the RGB. And yeah, so eventually I may put this on a vertical mount. We would definitely see about that. But yeah, this card is absolutely amazing. I love how it looks. Thinking about getting some custom sleeves when it comes to the power cables with the next build that I'm going to do. So yeah, absolutely love this card. Definitely recommend it. Super quiet. You can't even hear it right now. I'm on inside the case. But yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Man, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me through the entire video. Man, let me know down in the chat what you plan on getting. If you've been trying to get your hands on a 3080 of some sort. I know I've been lucky. So definitely I know people been asking me, man, what you do? Man, just, you know, this last time I really did just look up. It kind of fell in my lap. But, you know, when I got this, it was tough. I stood in line for a couple of times at Micro Center, and you know, I was able to look up and get it. So I definitely keep trying. Definitely join the Discord down with the invite link below. I also have 2 channels that has stock updates. And so definitely, you know, you get a chance to be able to hit those links and see if you get lucky. So definitely make sure that you join. All of the Amazon links that you see in the description below definitely helps out the channel. I got a giveaway that's going to be coming up real soon that I'm super excited about. So make sure that you subscribe and that you hit the bell so you get more information about that. But hey, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me, and I'll see you all in the next video.